Our house was designed by our great old friend and esteemed architect, Richard Murphy, who we have known for 25 years. We were quite comfortable about all of that, but Richard himself was a bit nervous in case it all went wrong. I do remember him saying this could be the end of 2 beautiful friendships. One of my favourite parts of the house is the fact that the sliding windows on the living room and dining room all completely slide away and disappear behind the outside walls, creating an invisible corner and bringing the garden into the house. Even when those sliders are closed, you still feel like you're outside in a way. My name's Graeme Ritchie. I am a flying instructor and I live in the house here with my wife Kim. We've been together for 14 years.
To me, a Murphy house always seemed to be about steel and glass and wood. I was a bit worried that it wouldn't be very homely, but we quite quickly realised Richard was going to look after us. The other architect that was very much involved in it was a guy called Tom, who was just lovely. And he also had been on Bake Off, so he was a keen cook. He even designed the kitchen, and it was all practical because the builders were kind of, you don't get architects to design a kitchen for you because, they haven't a clue, they'll not give you anywhere to put your pans or anything. But Tom did.
My original background before I was a flying instructor was in IT, and I still enjoy playing around with technology. The lighting and the heating are all automated, the lawnmower's automated, the alarm is automated. We have a console on the wall that shows us a few parameters, but really we don't have to do anything. The house just does everything itself based on sunrise and sunset times and so on. The house is laid out as a longhouse, meaning really all the rooms are lined up in a line with one corridor accessing all of them in the same direction. It's about 140 metres squared, so it's not a huge house at all, but it's all we need.
The house is so well insulated, and because of all the windows, we didn't realise how much solar gain can add to the temperature of the house. So even in the dead of winter, if there's the slightest bit of sunshine for part of the day, the rooms heat up and they're perfectly comfortable.
The house runs more or less east-west, so all the windows point almost due south, and it's nice that the sun moves round through the house and ends up the living room in the evening, which is where we tend to end up, so it follows you around the house. In the winter, we can completely close down the living room into effectively a little snug area by closing the sliding panel and drawing the curtains, and then with the log burning stove lit, it really is an extremely cosy, warm little space. On each of the walls between the rooms, the triangular section at the top has mirrors on it, which was done really just for a bit of fun. And it does also create an illusion of the ceiling extending off to infinity. So another fun idea of Richard's is to have a large window over the bath. The house backs onto really a kind of fairly private area. There is a public path, but there's a fence and some bushes and some trees and quite a distance as well. It means you can lie in the bath and look at the trees waving about in the wind and the stars in the sky at night.
One of the nicest things about waking up in this house is drawing the curtains and using the mirrors in the windows to watch the squirrels. I love watching the squirrels jumping up. They've got a nest in the lime tree. There is supposed to be an albino squirrel in Gullan that some people have had visiting. I've never seen that one yet. I do hope he comes and visits us at some point.
At the end of the long corridor that links all the rooms together, there's a sculpture that was sculpted by Kim's former neighbour, who's really quite a talented artist.
I've never lived in a new build before, Graeme has, and he warned me quite seriously that there wouldn't be anything like the cupboard space that I've always been used to in older houses, and we would have to do some serious decluttering. Fortunately, we had quite a heads up and quite a lot of time to do that, and we were pretty strict about that, actually. We digitised a lot of our CDs and our photographs and things like that so that we didn't have too much clutter to move in. I was absolutely astounded to find that we just have so much space. We can just basically tuck anything away. That's just lovely for me because I hate dusting, and it's nice to know that everything has a place. By and large, we're a pretty good team together. We do a lot of things together. We fly together, we hill walk together, and we ride a tandem together. And there is a saying that wherever your relationship is going, it'll get there faster on a tandem. I think that's very true.
I've always loved Gullan. I was born and brought up in Edinburgh, but as a child in summer holidays with my mother and my next door neighbours' friends and their mother, this is where we were brought to come and play on the beach and as children. And then as a teenager and a student, I played a lot of golf, so I ended up in Gullan quite often. I just always felt a bit of a connection to the place, even though I don't really have an actual family connection or anything like that.
On a practical basis, Gullan just has everything you would need. We've got some pubs, we've got our opticians, our hearing aid specialist, our dentist, our doctor, our pharmacy. We think it's going to be a place that we'll be able to grow old in. And hopefully we'll grow old in this house as well.
On the street the house is built on, there are no house numbers, so you have to have a name for your house. And we spent a long time trying to think of a name and couldn't really come up with anything we were happy with. But we were mindful that Richard had described the design as a longhouse, and the Norse for longhouse is Langskail. And the house Kim was brought up in as a child was called Langskail, so immediately there was a connection there, and that was it. That was the obvious choice.
I once asked Richard a long time ago, if you get a Murphy house, do you have any say whatsoever in what it's ending up looking like? And he just said no. so I thought that's fine. And it's been great because having a friend to design your own house for you is just such a privilege. You know, he knows us, he knows how we live, and he was able to make the house fit us perfectly.